Hey everybody, welcome to, sorry about that, welcome to Grace with Paul Gray. So sorry about having the camera all over the place. That's what you get when you get a low rent, low budget production like this. I wanted to start out letting you hear a little music today by my friend Ray Earhart. I'm doing something different on each Monday now on Grace with Paul Gray, and I'm kind of trying to feature some different people that I've known in my past that I've had the privilege of being involved with, and let you get a little taste of what they're like from a Grace perspective. The man you heard playing piano was Ray Earhart. Ray was born on June 30th, 1908 in Argentine, the Argentine district of Kansas City, Kansas. And Ray was a real prodigy. He was one of the greatest musicians in the country for most of his, well, for all of his adult life, certainly. He was a great piano player. He played around Kansas City when he was a kid and things like that, and then he left. Went on the road, was in Chicago, played with some big name people there. Went to New York, was the accompanist for Eddie Cantor, who was a real top big name singer and performer. He played with Jack Teagarden. World War II, he was in a Navy band. And then he came back to Kansas City to help care for his ailing mother, and got married and settled down in Kansas City, raised a family, a couple of great friends, a couple of great kids that I'm friends with. And his main job for many years was the staff piano player and the band leader for the staff orchestra of WDAF-TV. Those years, in the late 40s and through the 50s, TV stations had their own bands. Live bands, and people would come in and sing with them and stuff, and they'd play background music for different shows and things like that. They were really great musicians, and Ray would arrange the music for them and play piano and lead the band and work with the soloists and that kind of stuff. And then after that, he taught piano and played around Kansas City and on the road with some different groups. I met him in around 1967 or 68 when I was at KU. And he was kind enough to listen to me and let me sit in with his band and stuff like that when I would come and listen to him at the Levee in Kansas City. And we got to be really good friends. And after I graduated from KU, one of the things I did was I had a nightclub for 8 years, and I would have him come over and play a lot. And then when I went on the road with my band, the late 70s and early 80s, I would take Ray with us sometimes when things paid enough, and that was a really good deal. So what you just heard there, and we're going to close with a little bit of it, was Ray playing with my band at the Mayport Jazz Festival in Jacksonville, Florida in 1981 probably. Ray was a wonderful guy. He was a real grace guy, although none of us knew what grace meant then. But you could just sense Jesus in him. I mean, he was a jazz musician. He liked to drink bourbon. He liked to have a good time. But he was just, but he was full of the Holy Spirit. And he was a fun guy, a nice guy. He didn't complain. He didn't put other people down. He was as good as there was. He was generally considered the greatest living Dixieland player in the country for 5 or 6 decades, really. And he didn't put other people down. Everybody else that played with him pretty much were not even close to his level. But he didn't put us down. He just enjoyed being with us, and he would tell us great stories about the 20s and 30s and 40s and things like that. He was just a very kind man, a very giving man, a very generous man. He was just full of life. He's the kind of guy that you just love to be around, and you could hear that and sense that and feel that in his music. So with apologies for the video work, it's just me with my iPhone and a selfie stick. I'm going to close today with a little bit more of Ray playing piano with my band in about 1981. And tomorrow we'll get back with Grace with Paul Gray. So here's a little bit more of the Gaslight Gang. We're playing a Louis Armstrong song called Struttin' with Some Barbecue.